Jesus' omniscience, evidence of his divinity. One of the defining attributes of God is omniscience, the ability to know all things, past, present, and future, as well as the thoughts and intentions of every heart. The Bible attributes this divine quality to Jesus Christ, presenting him as one who possesses complete knowledge. If Jesus is omniscient, he must be divine, as no created being can share in this unique attribute of God. Biblical evidence of Jesus' omniscience. Jesus knows the thoughts of men. But Jesus, knowing their thoughts, said, "Why do you think evil in your hearts?" Matthew 9:4. Throughout the Gospels, Jesus demonstrates the ability to discern the hidden thoughts and intentions of others. This level of insight is attributed to God alone. Jeremiah 17:10. Jesus foretells future events. Peter's denial. Jesus answered, "Will you lay down your life for me? Truly, truly, I say to you, the rooster will not crow till you have denied me 3 times." John 13:38. Jesus predicts Peter's denial with precise accuracy, demonstrating his foreknowledge of future events. The destruction of Jerusalem. And when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then you know that its desolation has come near. Luke 21:20. Jesus prophesies the destruction of Jerusalem, which occurred in 70 AD, fulfilling his words. Jesus knows individual histories, the woman at the well. Jesus said to her, "You are right in saying, 'I have no husband,' for you have had 5 husbands, and the one you now have is not your husband. What you have said is true." John 4:17-18. Jesus reveals the Samaritan woman's life history without prior interaction, leaving her astonished at his divine knowledge. Jesus knows his betrayer. Jesus answered, "It is he to whom I will give this morsel of bread when I have dipped it." So when he had dipped the morsel, he gave it to Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot. John 13:26. Jesus identifies Judas as his betrayer before the act occurs, further demonstrating his omniscience. Jesus knows the Father fully. "All things have been handed over to me by my Father, and no one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son chooses to reveal him." Matthew 11:27. Jesus' claim of mutual knowledge with the Father points to his divine nature, as only God can fully comprehend God. Jesus knows the end from the beginning. "I am telling you this now, before it takes place, that when it does take place, you may believe that I am he." John 13:19. Jesus frequently speaks of future events with certainty, underscoring his divine foreknowledge. Theological implications. Omniscience is a defining attribute of God. In Isaiah 46:9-10, God declares, "I am God, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times, things not yet done." For Jesus to demonstrate omniscience is to affirm his divine identity. Furthermore, Jesus' ability to know the thoughts of men, predict future events, and fully comprehend the Father goes beyond human capacity. If he were merely a prophet or teacher, these claims and actions would be inexplicable. Challenges for skeptics and non-believers. How can Jesus know the thoughts of men? In Matthew chapter 9:4, Jesus discerns the hidden thoughts of people. If only God knows the heart, Jeremiah 17:10, how can Jesus do this unless he is God? Why does Jesus foretell future events? Jesus accurately predicts events like Peter's denial and the destruction of Jerusalem. How can this foreknowledge be explained if he is not divine? What explains Jesus' knowledge of personal histories? In John 4:17-18, Jesus reveals the Samaritan woman's life without prior interaction. How can this be explained without divine omniscience? Why does Jesus know his betrayer? In John 13:26, Jesus identifies Judas as his betrayer before the act occurs. How can this precise foreknowledge be explained if Jesus is not omniscient? What does Jesus' mutual knowledge with the Father imply? In Matthew 11:27, Jesus claims to know the Father fully, a claim only God can make. How can skeptics reconcile this with the assertion that Jesus is not divine? Why does Jesus claim to know the end from the beginning? In John 13:19, Jesus declares future events to prove his identity. How can this be reconciled with human limitations if Jesus is not God? Why does Jesus fulfill the role of God in knowing all things? Isaiah 46:9-10 attributes the knowledge of the end from the beginning to God alone. How can Jesus fulfill this role without being divine? Why do Jesus' actions parallel Old Testament descriptions of God? Jesus' ability to know the heart, predict events, and understand all things parallels descriptions of God in the Old Testament. How can this be explained apart from his divinity? What other historical figure demonstrates omniscience? No other historical figure has demonstrated the knowledge Jesus displayed.